What is up, guys? BK Voiceover here, and welcome to the breakdown of Seattle's Week 4 victory over the Detroit Lions. The game just ended about 10-ish minutes ago, so my thoughts on the game are still very much fresh in my mind. So without further ado, we will go ahead and get into the details of this game, the good, the bad, and the ugly. As always, if you guys want to see more content, be sure to drop a like on the video, comment your thoughts on the game, who did great, who didn't do well, and if you want to see more Seahawks content, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and we will get underway. So, breaking down the game, going down the line, going through the play-by-play really quick. This always helps me play. So, Seattle starts off pretty strong. They get a touchdown on a long possession in their first go at it. They get a touchdown. Seattle gets a big 3-and-out stop on the Lions' first drive after Seattle went up 7-0 to start the game. And then on the kickoff return by Lockett, he fumbled the ball. The Lions get it right back, and on one play to TJ Hawkinson, the game is now tied. Well, not tied, because their kicker, Eberle, who they signed off the street after their other kicker, Seibert, went down with an injury. Game was then 7-6. Seattle would go right down the field and score again on a... this was a design run from Geno Smith right up the middle to put it up 14-6. Seattle would let them get a field goal their next time around. A pretty long, 12-play, 6.5-minute drive, but only 41 yards. Did hold them to a field goal, so that was a victory. Then Seattle gets the ball back. They drive down the field. I say drive down the field. They got 22 yards. They hit a field goal. Then Seattle, on defense, who was, aside from a few flashy plays, the defense played pretty bad. Lions drive down the field, and then a great peanut punch by Kobe Bryant, punches the ball out. Seattle gains possession, goes right down the field in 3 plays, and scores on, I believe it was I double check this one. It was a Noah Fant touchdown from 2 yards, but DK Metcalf was that entire drive. He had an amazing short catch, and then was great after the catch. Got 54 yards, got it all the way down to the 2-yard line. Noah Fant finished that off for his first touchdown as a Seahawk. Then, of course, the Lions would go down and score again, their kicker missing another extra point. Going into the half, it was 24-15, Seahawks still in the lead, and then a defense that has been much maligned, and justifiably so, came out with a bang to start the second half. First play from scrimmage, Jared Goff throws a interception into triple coverage, picked by Tariq Woolen, returned for a touchdown. Tariq Woolen, his second interception of the year, his second interception in the past 2 games, and it was returned for a pick 6. By the way, that was the first, I think the first defensive touchdown by Seattle since I think it was the Rams game. I think it was week 15 of 2019 when Quandre Diggs had a pick 6 in that game. So yeah, it's been a long time coming. Seattle really needed that. Detroit gets the ball back. They punt after only gaining 4 yards. Seattle gets the ball right back. They push down the field pretty effectively, and then Jason Myers shanks the kick left. It wasn't close. It wasn't blocked or anything. He just missed it pretty badly. So 3 drives combined for both teams. It's still 31-15. The Lions will then get the ball on the next drive. They drive down, get the touchdown on a long run by Jamal Williams, who was a force to be reckoned with today. They also get the 2-point conversion, so they're only down by 8. Seattle would then drive down the field on a almost 6-minute drive, 11 plays, 75 yards, and they would score on a long run of 36 yards by Rashad Penny. They're now up 38-23. But the Lions are not going to go quietly into the night. They drive down the field, and they score another touchdown very quickly against a horrifyingly bad defense today. TJ Hawkinson gets an 81-yard grab, takes it all the way down to the 4-yard line. They score a few plays later on a Josh Reynolds touchdown and get the 2-point conversion. So again, the Lions are only down by 7. Seattle drives down the field. They get a field goal to be up by 2 scores. Lions again proceed to drive down the field and score another touchdown. This time it was, I believe, another passing touchdown to TJ Hawkinson. So they're only down by 3. Seattle's trying to move down the field to ice the game, and they pretty much do. Long touchdown run, another long touchdown run. Rashad Penny's second of the day, ices the game, and pretty much ices the game. Didn't fully end the game, as you know. Detroit still had some time left, and 2 minutes 14 seconds. They still had the 2-minute warning and all 3 of their timeouts, so they were able to go down the field and score very quickly. Only took them 1:08 seconds. They tried to get the onside kick, which Nick Bellore initially fumbled, but DJ Dallas was able to recover. So from there, the Lions still had all 3 of their timeouts, so Seattle couldn't just kneel the game out. They needed a first down. They needed at least a first down to ice the game. So 3 consecutive runs to Rashad Penny. He gets the first down on 3rd and 5 and ices the game. And not only was it an amazing win for Seattle, it was also scoregami, 48-45. So yeah, that's kind of the breakdown of how the game went. Offense was humming all game. Geno Smith looked great. The running game looked great. The offensive line, aside from Charles Cross getting a couple of penalties here and there, he had a false start, and I think he had a holding penalty. So he's definitely got to clean that up. But yeah, as far as today goes, the offense was great. The defense, on the other hand, aside from a few flashy plays by the rookies and by a couple of other guys, this was a massively disappointing showing from the defense, as should be made apparent by us giving up 45 points to the Lions, who granted, I'm not saying the Lions offense is bad. The Lions offense to start the season has been one of the best in football. Having said that, they were also missing their wide receiver 1, their wide receiver 2, their starting running back, as well as a couple of other big pieces on their offense. So when you're giving up 45 points to basically the entire second string of this offense, that's kind of unacceptable, in my opinion. Like, Jesus. The offense did enough. The offense was amazing. The offense is the only reason we won this game. The defense nearly lost us this game. So let's go down the line and kind of take a look at the box score. So to start off, Geno Smith had a fantastic game. 23 for 30. He had an over 75 completion percentage. Again, I think he has one of the best completion percentages in all of the NFL right now, if not the best. For 320 yards. Like, these weren't dink and dunks. He was averaging over 10.7 yards. These weren't dink and dunks. He was averaging over 10 yards per attempt. Like, he was pushing the ball down the field pretty consistently. He was getting those nice dink and dunks, and a lot of guys were getting some good yard after the catch, which is also nice. But yeah, so yards after the catch is one thing this offense has really struggled with to start the season, but this game didn't have that issues. Granted, the Lions defense isn't great, but yeah, so all in all, great performance by Geno. He had a passer rating of 132.6 to go along with 2 touchdowns, as well as 7 carries for 49 yards on the ground and a touchdown on a designed QB run. It's been very rare to see. I mean, with Russ gone, I was expecting them to not be using the quarterback as a runner very often, but there were quite a few designed runs for Geno Smith in this game, which was very interesting to see. It opens up a whole new facet of this offense, so absolutely love to see it. Now we'll go into the rushing game. So we kind of started with Geno Smith, who had 7 carries, 49 yards, and a touchdown. But we really need to talk about the MVP of this game, because the MVP of this game was Rashad Penny, who Rashad Penny, he's been doing good. He was efficient through the first 3 games of the season. I think going into this game, he was averaging 4.7 yards a carry, which is which is very good for a running back. So, but the thing was, while he was being efficient, we weren't really seeing him take over games. And to start the game, he was not doing a whole heck of a lot. He was getting stuffed pretty badly by this Detroit defensive line, but as the game went along and their defense got mighty tired from being on the field all the time, Rashad Penny really opened up this offense and ended the day. He had 17 carries for 151 yards and 2 TDs. He almost averaged 9 yards a carry, which is utterly insane. I know there were some other guys that had some really impressive stat lines on the day. Saquon Barkley, I know, had an insane game in the Giants Bears game, but if there is anybody who should be up for the FedEx Ground Player of the Week, it is absolutely Rashad Penny. It should 100% be Rashad Penny. Kenneth Walker, while not seeing a whole as much usage as Rashad Penny, he was fine. He 8 carries for 29 yards, 3.6 yards a carry. He wasn't that efficient. He's still a rookie, still learning the offense a bit. But you saw the flashes of that great patience and reaction speed that made him a second-round pick and made him so effective for Michigan State. So, yeah, he's not blowing the doors off of anybody quite yet, but he's slowly improving, and that's the important thing that you want to see. And I'm sure he's only gotten better through the first 3 weeks. So I know that Rashad Penny is obviously the RB1, but Kenneth Walker is showing that he's a very competent RB2. So D. Eskridge also had an end around for 6 yards, so that was good for him. Should have gone for a first down, but I think it was like 3rd and 1, but still a decent play. Through the air, of course, DK Metcalf dominated this game. Didn't have a touchdown, but still had his highest total yardage in a game all season so far. He had 7 catches for 149 yards. Did have a little bit of a scare during the game when we saw him leave on a cart, and we were all freaking out oh my god, DK's injured. What the heck is going to happen? But apparently he just had to go to the bathroom really bad, and taking him on the cart was the fastest way, so that was kind of funny. Metcalf was not the only effective guy in the receiving game today. Tyler Lockett had a great game, 6 catches for 91 yards. If it weren't for that really bad fumble on the punt return, he would have been graded. I would have thought he did better, but that still looms large. The other thing is, can we stop putting Tyler Lockett on punt returns and kick returns? He's not that anymore. He is a number 1 wide receiver. D. Eskridge, if anybody, should be getting those carries. So, yep. So yeah, obviously your 1A, 1B receivers had the most yardage, but amazingly, neither of them were the ones that scored touchdowns. It was, again, our tight ends. Of all of our, we have 6 passing touchdowns on the season so far. 5 of them have gone to tight ends. 3 to Will Dissly, 1 to Noah, 3 now to Will Dissly, 1 to Colby Parkinson, and the first one of Noah Fant's career here in Seattle. He had a touchdown. It was on a 2-yard catch. He was wide open in the end zone. I think Geno Smith was he looked over and he hesitated for a second. I think he was he was in utter disbelief that Noah Fant was that wide open. But yeah, aside Will Dissly, like I said, 4 catches for 39 yards and a touchdown. Colby Parkinson also had a couple nice catches for 28 yards, both of which went for first downs. D. Eskridge also had a nice reception for a first down for 10 yards. Penny also had a catch. Kenneth Walker also had a catch, but terrible on a really terrible screen. They got blown up, so he lost 5 yards, so not great for him. Like I mentioned earlier, Tyler Lockett had that fumble, which was recovered by the Lions on that kick return, or on that punt return, so that sucked. On defense, like I said, there ain't a whole heck of a lot to write home about. Let me start with the good, and then we will then we'll get to the bad, because there was a lot of bad. The good, Tariq Woolen had an amazing, like I said earlier, first play of the second half, undercuts the target that Jared Goff was going for. He was trying to thread the needle. Tariq Woolen picks it off, returns it for a touchdown, his second interception of his rookie season, and a pick 6. So Tariq Woolen had a great game. He had a couple of penalties, but for the most part, he wasn't allowing many big many big receptions in coverage. So Woolen was good. Happy to see that he was getting some effective use out there. Geno Smith also had a couple of big plays. He had a batted pass. He also had a QB hit, as well as the Seahawks' only sack of the game. I'm not super annoyed that they only got one sack. That Lions offensive line is really, really good. So good for him. Then aside from that, Boye Mafe, while he didn't really blow up the stat sheet, he did have a couple of really good defensive plays. He was great at setting the edge. Was good in run defense. Had a couple of really nice tackles and was actually fairly decent in coverage. So happy for Boye. Good for him. The bad, Brooks led the team in tackles, but I could care less because Brooks missed so many tackles in this game and just looked generally disinterested. The entire defense was terrible. Cody Barton, so many missed tackles. Terrible coverage that let TJ Hawkinson get an 81-yard catch. It should have been a short gain, but it wasn't. Diggs, aside from nearly putting a kid in the hospital, he was quiet for most of the game. Luckily, they didn't test them super deep, so Diggs was decent in that regard. Bryant actually had that like fumble or forced fumble, that peanut punch out, so really good on him for forcing that fumble. But aside from that, he was fine in coverage. I didn't have too much. The interior of this offensive line did nothing. Harris, Monet got penalized. Puna was completely invisible. Darrell Taylor can't set an edge to save his life. We had all of these backup defensive backs doing absolutely nothing. This defense was utterly atrocious the entire game, and there's really not a whole lot to write home about. So, as far as the offense goes, I would say that pretty much everybody in this game, probably a winner. I can't really call out anybody on this offense that was like straight up bad. Cross had a few penalties, but he did not allow a sack all game. He didn't even allow a pressure, I don't think, for most of the day. Eskridge, yeah, he was great. He did kind of come up limping at one point, but he wasn't bad. He had a nice play on an end around to get close to a first down, and had another catch for a first down. So I can't go off on the guy. He was pretty good. DJ Dallas was fine on kick returns. Jason Myers did miss a field goal. It was a gimme 39-yard field goal. You can't be missing those field goals, especially when you hit one from 56 earlier in the game. You're also in a dome. You shouldn't be missing those kicks in a freaking dome, and it wasn't close. Yeah, Jason Myers made his other two kicks, and he made one from 56, but you're being paid $5 million a year. You're like the 5th highest paid kicker in the NFL right now. You can't be missing those gimmies. But it's whatever. We won the game. 6 for 6 on extra points, so that was nice. What else? As far as the bad and the other good players on the team, I would say Boye Mafe was good. Tariq Woolen was good. Uchenna Nwosu was good. Everybody else on the defense is bad. Everybody else's performance was nigh unforgivable. So, anyways, that's my relatively quick breakdown of how the game went. We're getting close to 20 minutes on this video, so we'll go ahead and shut it down. I'm going to be watching the rest of the games in the afternoon slate and see what happens. I think the Cardinals game is on. I might try and watch that and see how that goes. So yeah, that's what I got going on. Thank you guys for watching, if indeed you still are. Like before, be sure to like the video if you like the content. Comment me down below what you guys thought and what you guys are looking forward to when Seattle travels next week to go and play the New Orleans Saints. Also hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of these breakdowns and more videos throughout the regular season, and hit the bell icon to be notified whenever I post. So thank you guys so much for watching, if indeed you still are. And as always, go Hawks.